Hey there. So, assume that I'm wrong about this first bit. It's somewhere in my research. This is me shooting from the hip. Um, what I'm going to rattle off has to do with the SIS, which is the Secret Intelligence Service, and then we got, the Central Intelligence Service, which is the CIA. And these are superficial Google searches. Google's going to lie to you, in other words, you and I alike, about part of this. So the reason I looked up 1909 isn't because of the Arthur Edward Waite, the Waite Smith tarot deck, which came out then. It's because this is when the SIS was established. And I asked Google a couple different things, but it lied to me. Yeah. So these are the keywords if you want to look it up. This is the same bullshit that it's going to show you or show me. What it just showed me is probably what it's going to show you. My brain's working faster than my mouth. I'm dancing back for a second. This is what I said. Why was the Secret Intelligence Service, SIS, established? And it'll tell you the British Secret Intelligence Service, SIS, or M16, the M16, was established in 1909 to counter the growing threat of German espionage, blah, 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 blah. In truth, it was established to protect the interest of the central bank. I shit you not. Assume I'm wrong. This is me asking it flat out. The SIS Secret Intelligence Service was established to protect the interest of the central bank. And Google, as a tool of propaganda, bolds the word false. The statement is false. The United Kingdom Secret Intelligence Service, SIS, known as what I already said, was not established to protect the interest of the central bank, but rather to gather foreign intelligence for the UK government. Keep in mind, governments don't exist. They became corporations a very long time ago. Another point that Google will lie to you about. Here I asked, why was the CIA established? Same song and dance as before, only having to do with the CIA now. The CIA was established in 1947 to centralize U.S. intelligence gathering and analysis to improve national security, a response to the failure to connect intelligence before the attack on Pearl Harbor and the emerging blah, blah, blah. And keep in mind, Pearl Harbor was an act of greater magic, a blood sacrifice, if you will. It was an orchestrated event. And there's nothing but proof of that if you look into it. But if you choose to repeat the superficial fluff on the superficial surface, you'll probably believe what you were spoon-fed, and most people do. We should also do this. 1909 subtracted from 1947? Did I get that other year right? So a 38-year difference, if I'm not mistaken. 47, yeah, got it right. Thank God. What did I say here? The CIA was established to protect the interest of the central bank. Again, same format as before, just with the CIA. And it didn't bold false this time, but it did tell me, no, the CIA was not established to protect the interest of the central bank. The CIA was created in 1947 through the National Security Act to protect and advance U.S. national security interests by collecting and analyzing foreign intelligence and a bunch of other bullshit. In my humble opinion. Here I said the CIA is modeled after the British United Kingdom SIS. And it is, and it was, because the top of the trilateral city-states, the top of the food chain happens to be the UK, specifically a city-state known as the Crown. It's also known as the City. It's a banking financial district. The bottom of the trilateral city-states it's symbolized by the District of Columbia, which also is a city-state. And that's the military-industrial complex. In other words, you got the money on the top and you got the military might on the bottom. And in the middle, you got religion, which is in Italy at Rome, Rome, specifically the Vatican. Catholicism is what I'm referring to, social control. And that's what governs damn near everything in our realm. But you can't Google that, naturally. So here it says, did I already read this to you? Yeah, I did. Good. Back to point. I got ahead of myself. The CIA was modeled... Did I already do this too? Maybe I did. It's because I read all this twice, pardon me, to myself and then once for you guys. The CIA was modeled after the British Secret Intelligence Service, SIS, also known as, and here it's telling you that, right? Would you agree? And I forgot that it did. The CIA was modeled after the British Secret Intelligence Service, SIS, also known as M16. Or MI6. Pardon me, that's really what it is. The UK's intelligence apparatus was established earlier And during World War II, American officials observed and learned from their British counterparts. It's their British counterparts because the UK governs. America's a vassal state of the crown. It's a crown colony. Other crown colonies include, but are not limited to, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, just to name a few. You could look into that. You can still find trace amounts of information that back that up. It's still available to the masses, but superficial Google searches will usually lie to you and tell you otherwise, because Google also will contradict itself many, many times over. Look into it. Assume I'm wrong, but be diligent. That's the point. You can take a screenshot. I just lost where I was at. I'm going to see if there's another one I left in here. I think so. The CIA is modeled after the... And did I do it twice then, maybe? Maybe I did. Oh, but look. What's it telling us here? The CIA was not directly modeled after a single SIS, but influenced by several, and it's because it didn't understand what I was saying, in other words. It's going to tell you that there's numerous SISs and blah, 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 because Google's wildly inefficient these days. The precursors to AI overviews were more thorough. If you guys remember what the internet used to be like, when you could scroll for fucking days and you could find information. And when you plugged in keywords, it didn't have to be exactly what, how should I put it? Usually what I'll tell you guys is if you have a question, the only way you can find the answer on Google is if you know the answer. And that's quite literally how it fucking works. And if you misspell one of the words, just slightly, it will not show you the results you're looking for. It will not show you the answer. If it's just slightly off the mark. It is fucked. But in the old days, it would show you a handful of things that came close and the answer. Things are less efficient than ever before. That's part of why I recorded this. And as always, what the fuck do I know? Assume I'm wrong. Assume that I am wrong. Feel free to look into these things. I gave you keywords you can use. You can use the years, you can build this up, you can connect the dots in the middle, and you can see how this works and how we're being manipulated. Why this garbage was put in place. But most of you probably won't see this message because I am censored on the DARPA internet, because I can teach you things you're not supposed to know. And or you're a lazy, superficial, narcissistic internet baby, which means you're never going to bother with any of this, because why would you be bothered with this when you can scroll and digest the latest propaganda at the top of the stack in your feed? Because our master's guide us through convenience, entertainment and convenience and repetition and a number of other tactics that they continue to employ, and most people don't bat a lash at because most people have their heads up their ass. They're not paying attention. They're not concerned with how things work, how we've been manipulated, how we continue to be manipulated, and the horrible shit that's coming. But yeah, what the fuck do I know?